Hey guys, welcome back. Finals are in like 2 weeks for me and I am very stressed today. But I wanted to film a video, so I'm gonna film one that's minimal effort and kind of just relaxes me. So first of all, I'm filming outside because it's finally spring. So today we will be discussing everything Avengers Endgame. So I saw Endgame probably a week and a half ago and I am still not over it. In fact, I'm so not over it, I had to make a list of what I needed to talk about because there's so much to cover and I probably won't even get through half of my thoughts. I'm just going to start from the beginning. So I went into the theater not really knowing what to expect. I knew that there wouldn't end this series with half of the population just being dead. I knew that right when I watched Infinity War, and did I still cry at Infinity War? Yeah. I sobbed my eyes out. I still sobbed my eyes out, even though I'm like, there's no way they're gonna let just half the population stay dead. But when it opened with Hawkeye and his family, I sat down, I watched the trailer, and at the second I saw Hawkeye, I go, his family dead. And I was right. I wish I wasn't right though, because that was really sad and emotional. But I do like that his family died, not because, no, they didn't die permanently, they came back, but I like that because it added so much more development to Hawkeye's character, because I feel like before Endgame his character was kind of static, and he didn't have his own movie. You didn't see much development through Hawkeye until Endgame, when all of a sudden he'd lost everything and he had to find his way back to his sanity and the things he knows and the things he believes in after going full-on rogue and kind of dark. And I thought it was very beautiful that Nat was his kind of like tether to who he used to be, and that she pulled him out of that dark spiral. And I'm obsessed with their friendship, and I have been for ages. So I knew that some people would die. When I went into the theater, I was like, oh my god, who's gonna die? And I figured that either Iron Man or Captain America would die. I kind of suspected that. I did not think that, I knew, like, I was smart to believe this, but that anyone who died, like, in the Thanos doing the little snippety snap with his finger in the last movie wouldn't die, because they'd probably have, like, not be even alive for, like, most of the movie, which is what ended up happening. So I did not see Black Widow dying. I did not predict that. I did not want to predict that. And I was talking to my friend Alex. He said that her character was more boring than Captain Marvel, which is untrue. Okay, I haven't seen Captain Marvel, like, the actual movie yet, but I did not like her character in Endgame. She was so boring. So boring, like, completely static throughout. She had full-on confidence, like, which is awesome, you go girl, but also I feel like she just kind of existed. She didn't add much to the story by the time she got in Endgame. Like, she did a lot, but her character just, it didn't add anything to the story, and it made me kind of sad because I expected more from this big build-up after Infinity War of this badass female Captain Marvel coming into the screen, and I just was kind of let down, and that was disappointing. I do need to watch Captain Marvel, the actual movie, to see how I truly feel about her. This is just what I thought based off of Endgame. Okay, so Captain America, I love that man. What a man. I felt like his ending was so rushed. I felt like the writers felt like they needed to do something to, like, wrap up his character because he is one of the critical, like, core Avengers. And Marvel was just like, okay, well, what can we do to, like, wrap it up into a tight, neat little box? And that's how the ending came. One, I thought that he visited Peggy and she said she had such a happy, fulfilled life without him, which, like, is upsetting, but then he goes back and marries her, keeps her from meeting her husband, who could have been her true love, and, like, he just completely changed and altered her life, and I feel like Captain America Thor's character wouldn't do that just for himself. Okay, so I'm editing this now, and I was talking to my boss about this, and he pointed out something that I hadn't even thought about. So when Captain America went to see Peggy, she probably had her memories from when he had gone back and changed history and like lived in his like insured time. So when she said she had a husband, she didn't give a name. She didn't say who. She didn't say any specifics about her life. So what if that husband was him and she just didn't tell him because she didn't want to alter history? Just something to think about. I think that he should absolutely he deserves to be happy, and I think that he should have grown up in his own time period. But I just think that the way he did it interfered with so many people's lives and changed time, and that was just kind of uncool, and I didn't really like how that part of the story went. But it's okay, because I still love him, and I blame the writers for that. The Tony and Peter reunion freaking killed me. Also, can we talk about how Tony literally, the reason he tried to get everyone back is because he saw that picture of him and Peter, and he like almost cried, and then I almost cried, and then he's like, I lost the kid. And I don't make any sense when I talk about these two, because they're so gosh darn cute and small, and I want to protect them with all of my heart and soul. And then he just like Tony just like looked at Peter being a dork and just rambling, and he just gave him this big hug, and I was like, oh, so close to tears. And then like Tony just freaking dies like right after that. That was very heartbreaking, and just Tony's death and how broken Spider-Man was, and I was just like very hurt by that, very hurt. Also, Tony had a daughter, so it's very uncool. Okay, but Black Widow's death made me very sad. I touched on this earlier, I keep getting sidetracked, but it was also very justified for her character, and over her and Hawkeye made so much more sense. Because sadly, Hawkeye had a family and people who needed him and who, like, their existence was counting on him surviving and just their way of life, and Nat didn't. She was a lone wolf. She had people she loved and who loved her, and that was the Avengers, and her job in that moment was to save Hawkeye and save the universe, and I know there wasn't a doubt in her mind that she had to be the one to do it. And I think in the end, Hawkeye also recognized that she had so much, like, as heartbreaking as it was for him, she had so much less at stake. But yeah, it was kind of annoying that there were two deaths that were literally for the same cause. Like, Gamora dies, and then Nat dies the exact same way. I just didn't see her dying on a foreign planet, like, as such a spectacle. I was just disappointed by the way it happened, a bit. I wasn't disappointed by how they wrote it, the methods, her and Hawkeye at the very end. It was just the location threw me off, and I really don't know why, but it threw me off. Okay, so I went to see this movie with my friend Alex, and the second Captain America pulled that hammer, he sits up in his seat, screams, grabs my arm, starts shaking me, going, I knew it, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And we were both just flipping out. Oh my gosh. So the whole point of Thor's hammer was that, like, he was the only one worthy enough to grab it. And I think that Captain America being worthy and being able to wield Thor's hammer was just such an amazing added feature to the movie, because I know it happened in the comics, but there's a lot in the comics that they haven't chosen to include in the Avengers, and I'm very glad they included this, because it added so much more to Captain America's character and what it says about him as a person, which makes me even more disappointed by his ending, by the way. Thor was, in the beginning of this movie, Thor throughout this entire movie up until like the very end was just like this mopey emo boy, and it was so funny to me. He just like literally I felt so bad for him, because the poor baby was so funny in Ragnarok and in the like parts of Infinity War. But Endgame, he's just so broken. And it was hard to watch, but it was also kind of hilarious because he was just like this. I love how they wrote him just to make it a little bit more bearable to watch him be so broken. As like just this emo, edgy teen who just, his whole world fell apart and all he wants to do is drink beer, eat chips, and play video games. No, not as a teen. That's like a young adult, because I don't support underage drinking. Captain America and Penny are just so cute, and they had a kid, and that is what Tony wanted in Infinity War, and like he was so close to dying and not having that, and then he got to have a kid. Throughout all the tragedy, he found light in his daughter, except Tony freaking died. But you know what? It's fine. Just break our hearts, Marvel. And okay, I'm gonna kind of wrap this whole thing up with talking about the character development from the first Avengers movie to the last. All of these characters have, throughout the movies, kind of gone through such different arcs and developments. Even the ones that have been introduced more recently, maybe like Black Panther through their own movie, or Ant-Man, they've all just had such development in this long to short period span of the Avengers movies. Some really like notable ones, Thor's, Black Widow's, she's become so much more human. Thor's just become like kind of like, the first couple Thor movies were not great, and then by Thor Ragnarok he was just a freaking comedian, and then he had his heart broken again, and now he's gonna be in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's gonna be a freaking comedian again, and I'm so excited. And I don't even want to get into Tony and Peter again because I will start crying, and we don't need that when I'm already so mentally unstable. Okay, so thank you for listening to my little TED Talk about Avengers Infinity War. I hope you enjoyed the video. Go outside if it's warm for you, and just in this stressful time of the year when finals are approaching and summer is so close yet so far away, we really need just some fresh air. Thank you for listening to my rants about this one movie, and I really hope you have a great rest of your day.